guys, welcome back to the channel. So this year 2024 is 20 years of me driving on the road. I had an electric car for a loaner, 2-week loaner, EQB 300 from Mercedes Benz of White Plains. Great dealership. No one's buying these cars, and Mercedes has a lot of them and a lot of great incentive to get these cars off their showroom floors into your driveway. At this point, I don't recommend getting a non-Tesla electric vehicle, because 2 weeks with the car, I realized infrastructure for non-Tesla electric vehicles, it's not a dream as you would think. Unless you have a house with an indoor garage and your house has the ability, meaning the electrical setup in your house has the ability to do high-powered charge output to an electric vehicle, then by all means this car will be great. You have it at home, you plug it in, you can charge it overnight. We did not have any of those things. Even though we did have the home kit, it took like about 3 to 4 days to get from 40% to 100%. And that was not acceptable. You could say, oh, you could just drive it up the road and plug it in somewhere and then 2 hours you're gone. It wasn't like that. Even those high public chargers, it was 7 hours, 8 hours to go from 40% to 100%. And that's when I started charging the car, because at 40% battery life left on the car, it's looking at like a quarter tank of gas left on the little gauge there. So that's when I was starting, like, I gotta get this thing charged up. And it was very disappointing to see that the high-powered charge that was advertised everywhere, even from the dealership, was not really high-powered charge or fast charge.
So this is our EQB 300. It's a beautiful car. It's very much like the GLB, with the taillights being different and the front headlights being different. Side profile is identical to the GLB. The front bumper and grille is very different because this is electronic EV. Rim options are very different as well. It's a good looking car. We have the gray color here. Mercedes, unbeknownst to me, makes 3 versions of these. I don't know why. 250 front wheel drive, 300 4MATIC, and 350 4MATIC. Only key difference is there's a 1 second performance difference between the 3, and then pricing is different, as well as the range is different. I'll probably stick with the 300 because that's a nice in middle ground of the 3 vehicles. The 300, as I'm driving it here, the pickup on highway was really great. It really felt snappy and quick. The steering and suspension was very firm and BMW-like, not like other Mercedes where you get that soft, plush feel when you're driving. Here, it's like firm and very sporty. Really like that as well. The gauges, instrument panel is very readable. This is bright sunlight I'm driving in. Even the navigation screen, this is navigation option. A navigation package is pretty good on this vehicle here. And pickup, brake-in, this does have regenerative brake-in, so brake-in is felt really good. And I'm on a highway here, and in a minute I'm gonna hit some stop and go traffic. We're on the way to Barclays Stadium in Brooklyn to catch the Big Apple Circus. So I'm driving down from Westchester through the Bronx, through Manhattan, and this was probably the best, I think, driving through traffic feel of a vehicle I've ever had, because the EV feel in traffic, the stop and go with the brake-in, the minute you take your foot off the pedal, the car like sort of self brakes. So the stop and go traffic, as you see here, it was not stressful at all. It was very like relaxing, very comfortable. This vehicle is also better soundproof than our GLB and other Mercedes. It has a nice soundproofness, so you're in a car where there's no engine to make a sound and it's just quiet. And this is part of the Bronx, and the Major Deegan is the worst of the traffic in New York, and this is a nice Saturday afternoon, so we're stop and go traffic that we're in here. The range is where the fuel gauge is right there. So I have about 219 miles left on this before I have to charge it up. It does come with the plugs, and they did tell me I can charge it at home. Here is the same as any GLB you have, or any Benz you've seen in the past. This one does not have the 3rd row. Ours do have a 3rd row. This one does not have the 3rd row back there. It has a double sunroof, which is kind of cool. Doesn't have heated seats, but it have heated steering wheel, which is interesting. So I'm gonna take a quick look outside. I actually bought the car to a charging station here. at our local Metro North train station, you could park your car here all day and have it charging like this Kia here. I've never done this. I'm not sure how much it costs to charge. Pay first to get that out. But the charging port is here. It's your standard charger there. The dealership does have the high-powered one that you could drive to the dealership and it charges from empty to full. The guy said like 2 hours or something crazy like that. But I guess these chargers, I'm not sure if these are high charge. I'm not sure the infrastructure of charging your EV, but you can park your car here, take the train to work, come back, and your car is fully charged. This is how the car looks from outside. You have, I believe those are 19-inch rims. Front of the car, there's no grill for air intake. Actually, it's all sealed in the front there. I like the little blue light there with the little M Benz logo. Really cool. Scorpion Zero tires. Gonna pop the trunk. I don't think anything's in the trunk. There's an engine in here. I was not expecting an engine. I kind of was expecting a trunk. But that's what you're looking at. There is a battery there for, I guess, the car accessory batteries. There's some sort of, I don't know what that is, guys. I don't know. I have to Google that or look online, see what this is. It might be part of the battery. It looks like a transmission in there as well. I'm not sure what that is. It does come with all these charging accessories. Like I said, this car has never been purchased, so all this stuff is still brand new in the bag. I'm assuming when these are loaned out, the dealership just charges it with whatever they have. So it comes with all this extra stuff. Travel cable for charging, travel case for your charger. Big trunk. This does not have the third row. It does have the two bench seats in the back. Everything folds down if you need to. I like the sunroofs on these GLBs. It has a dual sunroof, a lot of light that comes in. The license plate on this is at the bottom, and ours is right here. But as this closes, but I guess because the trunk opener is there and the camera for the rear view is up there somewhere, they moved the license plate down there. But on a normal GLB and GLS, the license plates are usually up here. And this is the light bar in the back. It looks pretty nice. It's a nice looking car. And the point of these cars is a baby brother of the GLS, the way the GLC is a baby brother of the GLE. So these are basically GLSs, but shrunk down. You still have the third row option on these cars. The only kind of difference is less space than a GLS. It costs half the price of a GLS. But for getting around town, everyday driving kids around, it does the job. These all come, I've had a couple of these loaned out. They all come with sports seat standard, which is kind of cool. The tech and the drive power, it's SkimSense. Yeah, I just started a car. You can't even hear anything. Quiet it is. The car is in drive. You don't hear anything, and that takes a while getting used to. So it's funny, I came here to charge my loaner Mercedes, and remember I said not a lot of people are buying these cars, so they're all loaners. I didn't show you guys how to charge and look. It tells you information there and charging, and you have the two ports there. Yeah, and you unlock it once you're done there. Yeah, buddy. Close those up. But at my train station, my Metro North, there is another loaner car here being charged up, and same EQB 350, and this guy's getting a charge as well. So it's funny, no one's buying these cars, and they all seem to be loaners. We plugged it in at home. We have a 240 volt home. The home kit that Mercedes Benz provide was only given a 1.2 kilowatt charge plugged into the home outlets. And that was really bad because 40% battery life to 100% battery life took a couple of days, Saturday afternoon to Monday afternoon, to get to 100%. Couldn't do this. They want it plugged in at home all weekend. I drove up the road to Dobbs Ferry and plugged it in a free outlet at the supermarket. And I actually lost 4% battery life, guys, driving up the road a couple of minutes. And I'm down to 36%. And this was giving a 7.8 kilowatt charge. 36 to 100% was going to be a couple hours, 7:30 p.m. Saturday night to 1:20 p.m. Sunday night. Keep in mind the outside temperature as well as the conditions depend on how fast you will charge up your car. And this is free. This is a nice available option to residents in the area. This port gives about 9.6 kilowatts, which isn't so bad. My only gripe with the EQB is that you have to come out the car and go to the far side of the car if you need to adjust that charge port. I wish the charge port in this car was not on this far end, but maybe on the driver's side or by the headlights, something like that. Really cool. Green light when you're charging. A lot of instructions in that charge cap there. My big gripe about this car is the way it consumes power. There is a menu you could find inside the infotainment system. It's called the EQ menu. And what I found out after a couple of days of driving this, if the car was using 68% power just for driving the car, getting from point A to point B, the consumption, not shown here, but in a minute I'll bring the screen now. Consumption was 21% for heating and cooling. And we had the heat on as well as the defroster on because it was raining. We had a day of snow, I think, with this car. And it was 21% power used up from the battery, really bad. And also 11% for other consumers. Another gripe I had was the rear view camera is actually not in a headliner as I thought. It's in that little flip up Mercedes logo. And whenever it rained, there were these massive droplets that would drop in front of the camera, and you could see it drip, 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 dropping. And it was kind of, first world problems, but it was, look at this, it was annoying. I've never seen that any rear view camera I've seen before on a Mercedes, but it's very weird to have these massive droplets of water dripping off the camera. Back to discussing about the consumption, which was something that bugged me a lot, and my final reason for not recommending this EV. I spoke to friends with Teslas and other types of EVs, and they have not seen this, where 20% of the whatever you're doing in the car, driving around, is going to heating and cooling, and 30% is other consumers. And I didn't know what those other consumers were. I think that's really bad for the ratio for driving. Coming back home, I wanted to show you guys the electric version versus the gas-powered version of the same car. All equal, all things equal. The gas version that we have is 6.9 seconds. These are about 7 seconds for the 300. 222 horsepower. The weight of this vehicle, I felt was way more, it felt heavier than the GLB that we have. I don't know, GLB doesn't have a weight here, it just says TBA, but I'm going to find out what that weight is. The reason no one's buying these cars is that they're priced really weird between a Mercedes Benz GLE, the luxury GLE, and other Mercedes SUVs, where a EQB is, if I have 60 grand, I'm not going to buy an EQB. I'm going to just try to get a GLE SUV with 60 grand in my pocket. So I think that's the reason why people aren't really buying these cars. You go to Mercedes, you want the top of the line car. I'm just going to get a GLE, not the EQB might work better for me, but money-wise and what you're spending, the GLE is what everyone's going to buy. Said and done, a lot of these EQBs are really cheap on the used market, and the prices really drop. So that's the end of my review, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys later.